Ain't even peeped when the intro came on with the Teddy Pendergrass. That was that black fire. Don't do it. Don't go write a 8-minute verse that I know, nigga, Yachty, I know you want to get that money. You ain't wrong, nigga. Keep buying them big houses. But I'm going to tell you this like a real nigga. Ain't no more BBLs. Ain't no more ass fillers. Ain't no more cheek fillers.
The whole culture was buzzing. This wasn't just music. This was a showdown for the ages. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, two giants circling each other in the same arena. At first, it all looked like love, even respect. They were jumping on each other's tracks, flexing together in the spotlight, making it seem like hip-hop was big enough to hold both their egos without breaking. But that friendly competition turned into straight-up tension and then into a full-blown storm the whole industry had to pay attention to. The spark? March 22nd, when Kendrick dropped a vicious verse on Future and Metro Boomin's "We Don't Trust You." He didn't sugarcoat a single word. He called out Drake and J. Cole with lines sharp enough to cut steel. Kendrick spit, "Yeah, get up with me." F sneak dissing first-person shooter, I hope they came with 3 switches. And as if that wasn't enough, he kept the blade swinging with, "Think I won't drop the location. I still got PTSD. The big 3, it's just big me though." That wasn't just rap, it was a straight-up declaration of war meant to hurt. Drake didn't fire off a lyrical response immediately, but he wasn't about to stay silent either. 2 days later, March 24th, at his concert in Sunrise, Florida, he threw shade right back in front of thousands of screaming fans. The crowd knew it instantly. This wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was war building right in front of their eyes. To really understand how this all blew up, we gotta rewind. Back in 2011, Drake went from being that polarizing rookie people doubted to a certified superstar. His debut, Thank Me Later, had already dominated the charts, so the pressure was on. Could he go even higher? His answer came loud and clear with Take Care. That album wasn't just a project, it was a flex. A big, flashy yes to anyone questioning if he could carry the crown. He leaned right back into the moody, atmospheric vibe that made So Far Gone a classic. But this time, he didn't come alone. He brought some serious talent, including a hungry new voice from the West Coast, Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick had just made noise with Section 80, and people were whispering that he was the next chosen one. Drake gave him the mic on the Buried Alive interlude, and Kendrick made it unforgettable, spitting, "Blame it on Mr. Ovo. The reason why I'm breathing, all the vanity I know, that wasn't just a verse, it was a statement." His confidence shot through the roof, and the Drake cosign lit a fire under him like gasoline. Drake clearly knew he was looking at a star. He doubled down and brought Kendrick out on tour, even ignoring industry advice that he should have picked an R&B act instead. In his 2016 track 4 p.m. in Calabasas, Drake even bragged about that decision, reminding everybody he chose Kendrick and A$AP Rocky over safer options. Their chemistry was too real to ignore. When they linked again for Kendrick's debut album Good Kid, MA'd City on the hit single Poetic Justice, it exploded, climbing all the way to number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100. But here's where the plot twists. That smash hit turned out to be the last time they shared a stage or studio together. Because once Kendrick leveled up with Good Kid, MA'd City, he didn't just gain fame, he gained boldness. And with that boldness, he dropped his nuclear verse on Big Sean's Control and lit the entire rap game on fire. Kendrick didn't just step into the ring, he came swinging at the whole industry. J. Cole, Meek Mill, Drake, Pusha T, A$AP Rocky, Tyler, The Creator, Mac Miller, Big Sean, Jay Electronica, nobody was safe. And then came the line that froze hip-hop in its tracks. "I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you guys."
How I'm feeling. I'm gonna let you know how I'm feeling. Listen, the way I'm feeling is the same way I want you to walk out of here feeling tonight about your God. Cause you know how I'm feeling? I got my head up high, my back straight. I'm 10 toes down in Florida, anywhere else I go. And I know that no matter what, it's not a place earth that can ever be in my life. And that's how I want you to walk out.
That wasn't playful energy anymore. That was a full-on declaration of lyrical war. The Control verse wasn't just a flex. It was a warning shot, and Kendrick kept the pressure on. He spit lines like, "Trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you guys. They don't want to hear not one more noun or verb from you guys." Venomous bars that shook the rap game to its core. Drake, at least publicly, he kept it calm. That same month, when he landed on the cover of Billboard, he downplayed the whole thing, saying, "I didn't really have anything to say about it. It just sounded like an ambitious thought to me, that's all it was. I know good and well that Kendrick isn't murdering me at all on any platform. So when that day comes, we can talk about it again." Smooth words, sure, but sharp underneath. Drake was letting it be known. He wasn't buying Kendrick's murder talk one bit. But Kendrick wasn't finished. At the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards, he stormed the stage with his TDE squad, spitting over the legendary Shook One's beat, tossing subliminals like grenades. And then came the dagger. He jabbed again with, "Nothing's been the same since they dropped." The whole crowd caught it instantly. That was a slick shot straight at Drake's brand new album, Nothing Was the Same. And the feud had officially gone from whispers to fireworks. Nothing Was the Same wasn't just Drake's album title. It became the vibe of the entire beef. Drake later broke down his perspective on his track The Language, making it clear he had to defend his name against the Compton assassin. He admitted, "That verse was all anyone could talk about while I was dropping an album. What was I supposed to do? Pretend we're all good?" He showed respect, even calling Kendrick a genius, but also let it be known he wasn't falling for any trap. Drake compared it to Michael Jordan refusing to step onto a streetball court just to prove he still had it. Translation? He wasn't going to risk his throne by playing games outside his arena. Still, no matter how much Drake tried to downplay it, the truth was obvious. These two were trading subliminal blows, and the tension was only getting hotter. Kendrick wasn't about to ease up either. On King Kunta, he went straight for Drake's throat, rapping, "I can dig rapping, but a rapper with a ghostwriter, what the F happened?" That single line rattled the industry to its core because ghostwriting is the dirtiest accusation in hip-hop. It questions your entire credibility. Drake fired back on the Game's 100, spitting, "I would have all of your fans if I didn't go pop and I stayed on some conscious." It was his way of saying, sure, Kendrick might have the underground lyricist respect, but Drake ran the charts and had mainstream dominance locked down. But Kendrick? He wasn't letting up for a second. On Dr. Dre's Compton album, he slipped in some of his sharpest daggers yet. On Deep Water, he rapped, "They liable to bury him, they nominated 6 to carry him. They worry him to death, but he's no vegetarian." Sinister bars, coded disses, and another reminder that Kendrick was hunting with precision. The beef is on his breath, inheriting the drama better than a great white. This is life in my aquarium. Those weren't just slick metaphors. Those were the bars of a lyrical shark circling its prey. Kendrick wasn't just rapping, he was hunting, and everybody could feel it. Fast forward to October, and things took an unexpected twist. Drake dropped his 8th studio album For All the Dogs, and one of the standout tracks was First Person Shooter featuring J. Cole. But instead of aiming shots at rivals, Cole tried to play peacemaker. He rapped, "Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K. Dot? Is it Aubrey or me? We the big three, like we started a league." It sounded like unity, like a truce between the titans. The track didn't just resonate, it exploded. It rocketed straight to #1 on the US singles chart, giving Cole his first ever chart topper and marking Drake's 13th. That milestone even tied Drake with the legendary Michael Jackson for the most #1 singles by a male solo artist. On paper, it was historic, a moment that should have been all celebration and brotherhood. But peace doesn't last long in hip-hop. Just a week later, Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer came crashing in, knocking Drake and Cole right off the top. To most, it looked like a minor bump in their victory lap. But Kendrick? He was watching closely, and he wasn't impressed one bit. By March 2024, Future and Metro Boomin dropped their album We Don't Trust You. And hidden in that track list was a ticking time bomb, an uncredited Kendrick verse. When it dropped, it detonated like dynamite. Suddenly, the peace talk was gone, the unity evaporated, and the rap world was thrown right back into pure chaos. Kendrick didn't just rap, he went straight for the jugular. He shredded J. Cole's Big 3 Unity bar with a cold snap, no Big 3. It's just Big Me. That one line erased the alliance Cole tried to build and flipped the whole conversation. Kendrick brushed off Drake and Cole's biggest moments as nothing but a light pack, like their work barely scratched the surface. Then he crowned himself king in waiting, calling Drake the Michael Jackson of pop, while boldly claiming he was the prince ready to dethrone him. The climax of the verse was downright brutal. Kendrick promised to bury all of Drake and Cole's dogs in the pet cemetery, a chilling double entendre that twisted Drake's For All the Dogs into a horror movie punchline. This wasn't just a diss, it was psychological warfare, and the setup made it even messier. Because the beat? That came from Metro Boomin, the same producer who once rode alongside Drake on What a Time to Be Alive. The friendship had soured after their rumored sequel fell apart, and now Metro was hosting Kendrick's most lethal attack. That betrayal made the verse cut twice as deep. By 2022, the cracks between Metro and Drake were impossible to ignore. Metro even chopped Drake off a track and hit unfollow on Instagram. No small move, and fans knew ugly business was bubbling beneath the surface. But fold under pressure? Drake wasn't about to. At his Florida concert, he stood tall and lit up the crowd. When people kept asking how he was holding up, Drake made it clear. His head was high, his chest was out, and in his words, there wasn't a soul alive who could take him down. Drake's energy was defiant, almost daring Kendrick to take another shot. But the saga didn't stop there. Just 2 weeks later, J. Cole jumped headfirst into the battlefield with his track 7-Minute Drill off his surprise project Might Delete Later. And this wasn't coded shade, Cole went right at Kendrick. He spit, "I got a phone call. They say that somebody dissing, you want some attention, it come with extensions. He's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons. Straight shots, no filter." And Cole didn't stop at one jab, he went surgical. He praised Kendrick's debut as a certified classic, but then ripped into Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, calling the double album tragic. Then came the knockout blow. "Your third was massive, and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind, and I just now hit mine. Push come to shove on this mic, I will humble him." Those bars had the internet in flames. Cole wasn't just sparring, he was swinging for the crown. But here's the plot twist. Just days later at the Dreamville Festival in North Carolina, Cole pulled a complete 180 in front of a live crowd. He backtracked hard, admitting the diss was a misstep. He called Kendrick's artistry legendary, praised his entire catalog, and even asked for forgiveness. 1 minute, he was Kendrick's rival. The next, he was back to being his admirer. It was pure whiplash. Cole even promised he'd pull 7-Minute Drill off streaming platforms, telling fans he'd face whatever came with that decision. From shots fired to apologies on stage, Cole went from bold attacker to humble admirer in record time, and the rap world didn't know what to make of it. If Kendrick had thought about striking back, the message was already loud. Cole tapped out. But Drake, he was ready to turn the heat all the way up. Kendrick had once rapped on Control that only thing worse than death is a regret-filled coffin. And Cole clearly didn't want his resting place marked with a Kendrick feud. But Drake, he wasn't letting the fire cool. He poured gasoline on it instead. On April 13th, Drake dropped Push-Ups, Drop and Give Me 50, a diss track that went straight for the low blows. He mocked Kendrick's height, clowning him as Midget Kendrick, 5'4" and tall, and painted him as nothing more than a label puppet begging for pop star validation. Drake laced the track with sarcasm, spitting, "Maroon 5 needs a verse. You better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties." Every line dripped with mockery, pushing Kendrick into the pop lane he never wanted. And Drake didn't stop there. He tried to erase Kendrick's seat at the table completely. "Pip squeak pipe down, you ain't in no big 3. SCA got you wiped down, Travis got you wiped down, Savage got you wiped down." It was petty, brutal, and pure Drake instigator mode. Then came the wild card. Drake dragged names like Future, The Weeknd, and Rick Ross into the crossfire, almost daring them to pick a side. The move turned the diss into a public challenge, widening the battlefield. And sure enough, someone bit. Rick Ross wasted no time firing back with his own diss, Champagne Moments. In true Rozay fashion, Ross didn't just trade bars, he went for humiliation. He claimed Drake had gone under the knife for plastic surgery, turning the lyrical beef into a full-blown character roast. The crowd couldn't believe it. What started as a war of words between two giants was now turning into an industry-wide free-for-all. What started as lyrical sparring had turned into a full-blown rap soap opera, and everybody was glued to see who'd strike next. Rick Ross's wild rumors had fans clowning Drake non-stop, with talk about nose jobs, fake abs, and even whispers of a Brazilian butt lift. The jokes got so out of hand that Drake's own mom texted him asking if it was true. Drake even posted their convo on Instagram, and just like that, the beef slid into meme territory where the whole world was laughing at his expense. But the laughs didn't last long. Things got serious again when Kanye West decided to crash the party on April 21st, and he came in swinging on Kendrick's side. Ye dropped a remix of Like That, throwing darts at Drake's label situation and hinting that Drake had gotten played in his deal, and he didn't stop there. Kanye went straight for both Drake and Cole's pen game with the coldest jab. Y'all so out of sight, out of mind. I can't even think of a Drake line brutal words from a man who once collaborated with him. Meanwhile, Drake refused to let go of the baiting game. He dropped another diss, tailor-made freestyle, this time mocking Kendrick for supposedly being too scared to release music in the same week as Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets department. But Drake didn't just rap his usual bars. He tried to make it sting harder by using AI-generated voices of two of Kendrick's heroes, Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg, spitting bars against him. The stunt blew up in his face instantly. Tupac's estate stepped in, demanding the track be pulled down, and Drake was forced to scrub it off social media. What was meant to be a flex ended up looking desperate, and it left fans questioning just how far Drake was willing to go to stay in this fight. Then came the storm at the very end of April. Kendrick finally broke his silence, and he didn't whisper.
Crody, Crody, Crody. Do they even have Wi-Fi on that cargo plane? He may not even heard this yet, but look, white boy, I know we not friends, but let me give you this advice, because you ain't got nobody around you. Or you ain't got no real niggas around you. Let me just put it like that. Ain't no real niggas. Stop. Don't respond. Don't respond. You ain't even peeped when the intro came on with the Teddy Pendergrass. That was that black vibe. Don't do it. Don't go write a 8-minute verse that, I know nigga Yachty, I know you want to get that money. You ain't wrong, nigga. Keep buying them big houses, but I'm gonna tell you this like a real nigga. Ain't no more BBLs, ain't no more ass fillers, ain't no more cheek fillers.
He dropped a 6-minute firebomb titled Euphoria, borrowing the name straight from Drake's HBO series. And this wasn't just a diss track. It was an autopsy of Drake's entire persona. Kendrick tore into him as predictable, manipulative, and a flat-out fraud. He echoed Ross's fake abs taunts, but then went for something way deeper, the man's fatherhood. Questioning Drake's parenting turned the track into a scorched earth assault. This wasn't rap beef anymore. It was personal. Kendrick didn't just take shots. He declared open hatred, spitting raw lines like, "Let me say, I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress." The venom was so sharp, it instantly reminded fans of a famous DMX interview where X said straight up, if he didn't respect you, he hated you. Drake's clapback, pure sarcasm. He posted a screenshot from the teen rom-com 10 Things I Hate About You, mocking Kendrick's rant by comparing it to the angsty poem scene from the movie. Classic Drake trolling, petty, funny, calculated, but underneath the humor, there was a clear undertone. He knew Kendrick's blows were cutting deep, and this wasn't a game of light jabs anymore. Because Euphoria wasn't just another diss track, it was a demolition job. Kendrick came at Drake from every single angle. He clowned his Canadian roots, hinted Tupac would be rolling in his grave, dragged his parenting, fanned the plastic surgery rumors, and even spotlighted Drake's messy dating history. Nothing was off limits. And then, there was the title itself, Euphoria. A double jab, meant to sting Drake by flipping his own TV brand into the name of the track that gutted his image. It was clever, brutal, and symbolic. Like Kendrick wasn't just destroying the rapper, he was tearing down the empire Drake had built around himself. Since Drake held the title of executive producer on HBO's Euphoria, a show heavily criticized for its portrayal of young girls, Kendrick twisted that association into a weapon, flipping Drake's own brand into an ugly liability. It was a ruthless move, and the culture felt it immediately. Hip-hop journalists and critics praised the ferocity of Euphoria, saying Kendrick's delayed strike wasn't just worth the wait, it made the wait part of the drama. In comparison, Drake's push-ups and tailor-made freestyle looked like entertaining jabs, but they didn't land with the same knockout force as Like That or Euphoria. In the eyes of the culture, Kendrick had just snatched the upper hand in the war. The comeback wasn't only lyrical, it was strategic, and insiders couldn't stop talking about the precision of his timing. Some even crowned Kendrick as hip-hop's new boogeyman, the one rapper no MC wants to wake up and find coming for them in the middle of the night. Euphoria ran for over 6 minutes straight. No hooks, no breaks, no filler, just pure, uncut bars. That's what made it sting so deep. It felt like a throwback to the roots of battle rap, where skill, wit, and flow determined the winner. Not chart placements, not gimmicks, not cosigns. This was raw warfare. Now, critics did point out that the track wasn't flawless. The production was stripped down, bare bones, and it didn't deliver some shocking career-ending secret like fans were fantasizing about. But what it did have was undeniable. Razor-sharp humor, lethal wordplay, and unfiltered rage. Kendrick sounded like a man who had been sitting on ammo for years, and now he was unloading the entire clip all at once. The energy was raw, bitter, and unfiltered. Kendrick doubled down on calling himself the biggest hater, and fans couldn't get enough of it. This wasn't subliminals, this wasn't playful sparring, he made it personal, and that's why the whole culture locked in. Suddenly, it wasn't about clever punchlines or radio spins, it was about venom, and Kendrick was spitting it with no breaks. Naturally, comparisons to past beefs started flying. Everyone remembered when Drake barely survived Pusha T's 2018 nuclear strike, The Story of Adidon, where Push exposed Drake's secret child and humiliated him with that infamous blackface photo. That track had set the gold standard for modern diss records, and critics were asking, could Kendrick really match that level of impact? But here's the twist. Euphoria didn't need to expose hidden skeletons to hit hard. What made it devastating was the sheer hatred bleeding out of every single bar. As one critic said, this isn't about gimmicks or who's the greatest. This is about love and hate. And Kendrick's final word drove it home. Let me say, I'm the biggest hater. That wasn't just a line, it was a manifesto. Meanwhile, Rick Ross couldn't resist making his feud with Drake a spectacle. His diss champagne moments didn't even need a video, but Rozay dropped one anyway. And instead of going flashy or cinematic, he kept it gritty. Ross sat on a stool in front of a classic Chevy Bel Air, puffing smoke, spitting venom, and surrounding himself with his own liquor brands like the whole thing was a giant product placement. Bel Air bottles stacked, Bumbu rum on display. It was part diss track, part commercial, part flex. Rick Ross wasn't just dropping bars. He was dropping ads too. In the middle of his diss video, he slid in a poster promoting his 3rd annual Rick Ross car show. Only Ross could turn a diss track into a full-blown marketing campaign. The visuals weren't about Hollywood-level flash, they were about sending a message. Between clips of him laughing, flexing, and puffing smoke, Ross kept firing insults at Drake, calling him white boy, and doubling down on those nose job rumors. And of course, the cameras zoomed in on his liquor bottles like they were A-list co-stars. The timing was shady too. Ross dropped the video just a week after Drake's diss Push-Ups. That's the track where Drake mostly gunned for Kendrick and Metro Boomin, but couldn't resist tossing in a few shots at Rozay. Drake mocked Ross for even inserting himself into the war, rapping, "Can't believe he's jumping in." And every song that made it on the chart, he got from D. Diddy. He even told Ross to spend that little check you got and stay out of my business. Ross wasn't about to let that fly. In the video, He clapped back at Drake's dig about him allegedly using the weight loss drug Mounjaro by straight up grabbing his belly on camera and laughing it off. Petty? Absolutely. Hilarious? Without question. And pure Rozay energy through and through. So while Kendrick and Drake were trading nuclear warheads, Ross slid in with a different strategy, mixing humor, trolling, and business all at once. Call it petty genius or just perfect timing, but Rozay made sure his name stayed right in the middle of hip-hop's messiest feud, and he turned the spotlight into profit. Rick Ross didn't just drop champagne moments as a diss, he flipped it into free advertising for his empire, once again proving he's got the rare skill of blending business with beef. Hip-hop has always thrived on conflict, but what we're watching now is bigger than trading bars. It's a full-blown spectacle where every diss, every jab, and every clapback doubles as branding. Kendrick came at Drake with laser-focused venom, slicing straight into his image, while Ross turned the whole moment into comedy, hustling his liquor brands, clowning on camera, and reminding everyone he knows how to keep his name buzzing. And that right there is the beauty of the culture. Beef isn't just about settling scores anymore, it's about strategy. Some use it to carve out legacy, others to keep their names hot in the headlines, and some, like Rozay, flip chaos into cash. At the end of the day, hip-hop beefs aren't just lyrical wars anymore. They're marketing machines. Every move, every diss, every screenshot is designed to keep the world watching. And this saga proves one thing: controversy will always equal currency in the rap game. So what do you think? Is Kendrick versus Drake shaping up to be the greatest rap feud of our time? Or is it just another hype cycle waiting to fade? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this with your crew, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown of hip-hop's wildest drama. See you on the next one.